You're listening to the CulverCast, Episode 7, Behind the Scenes, featuring Hanna, Croy, Jada, Vitale, Mr. Berndt, and Miss Erika James.
Welcome to Episode 7 of the CulverCast. I am Hanna, Croy. This week I am joined with Jada Vitale, who is our guest host, Mrs. Erika James, principal at the Culver Elementary, and Mr. Berndt, principal for Culver Middle and High School. So welcome. Thank you so much for coming and being a part of this, and hoping to get back to behind the scenes of what it takes to run a school at Culver. So,
thanks for having us.
Yes, absolutely. So the first question that I have is, what does it take to run a school? Overview, what does it take?
Ladies first, go ahead.
There's a lot of things that go into running a school. There's, of course, all of the teachers and all the kids, all the people that we deal with, but there's also facilities and, co-workers and stuff like that. So, it's a very holistic picture of what a school day does and is. And there's just a lot of different avenues you might go down in a day.
Yeah. Is there anything special that you do that you can think of off the top of your head? Because you have the younger kids, so you go till 5th grade. So is there anything special that you guys do? Obviously, totally different dynamic, middle school, high school, elementary school. Is there anything different that you see other than the more colors and more fun down there than up here?
I imagine we probably deal with parents a lot more, and families a lot more. It's hard for parents to leave their very young children to go to school and be without them for an entire day, just like it is for kids to be hard without their parents.
So for the first week, is there a lot of like, how's my kid doing? How did they do?
Yeah. So nice. We do a lot more to involve our families, I think, and parents within our school day.
And fun events that you guys have, and spring flings, and PTO does a lot with that stuff. You just had movie night and superhero dance, and so awesome. Yeah, good deal. I'm waiting on the middle school superhero dance up here.
Absolutely. I think that's next week. Yeah,
okay,
spring break
great,
week.
Perfect,
yeah, that's when we're having it. We're all superheroes during spring break.
Nice. So what goes on up here then to run a middle? You have two schools in one building. What does it take to run a school here?
And it's obviously very similar day to day as the elementary. And I don't mean to say this sliding the elementary. I always called when I was a middle school teacher, it's less hand holding when they get to the middle school, high school. So they're more independent. They kind of run themselves, which is a nice thing. At the same time, you're worried about school safety, first of all, and things of that nature. I know Mrs. James in the same boat. Usually our day probably starts at 6 a.m. when we wake up, because you check your phone right away, check your emails to say who's going to be here and not be here. So, and that makes a huge dynamic on the entire day, because sometimes when we look at that email and says, okay, this teacher is gone and there's no subs for them, the domino effect starts to take effect. So that's kind of how the day starts, I guess, for me. That's the first thing I'm doing. Then when I get to school, we're checking the hallways, checking the building, make sure it is ready to go for the kids, and then you're kind of finally getting to your office to see what's going on for the day. And she's probably in the same boat as me. Usually you're having teachers come to you, parents call you, students come to you, and it's always, hey, do you have a second? Do you have a minute? And that's usually the main phrase that you hear all day long. And you want to say in your brain, no, I don't.
Yeah,
but yes, I do. And so obviously, our schedule fluctuates by the minute, just because you don't know what's coming your way. Where teachers and students have a more progressive set schedule where they know where they're going. So
your day is different every day.
Every day, which is a great thing.
Yeah, a lot of fun, keeps you on your toes.
Absolutely.
What does a day in life look like in your position?
Every day can be completely different, and you can have the best plans for your day and have the perfect schedule. Like today is going to be the day, and then something happens. Somebody loses their mind over something, and you got to pivot. So I was putting my coat on to come here, and I got a call that a student wasn't coming in from the playground. So my day, minute to minute, feels a little panic sometimes, because I knew I had to be here at 2:22 for my email, and it was 2:10, and I was like, this is plenty of time. I'm going to zip my coat. I didn't get to go to the bathroom on my way here. So just minute to minute, everything can change based on the moods of what kids are in my building, or, what walks through the door. So
I honestly was worried this morning when I read that Mr. Carver was out today. And I thought, something's going to happen, and Mrs. James is not going to be able to come today. So I'm glad you're here, because that was a fear of mine.
Yes. We pivot and we do what we need to do. And I have an incredible team at the elementary that really helps me out with those things. So we did. We shift and we do those things. So I might have meetings with teachers throughout the day. I might have meetings with parents throughout the day. But all of that changes on a dime depending on what the needs are in the building at that moment.
Then, I mean, ditto. It is the same way. The biggest bulk, I guess, of our day, honestly, for us is lunch supervision. It goes from about 10:30 to 1. We know we're locked in there unless emergencies are happening. So we're with the kids, which is fantastic. And I think that's what makes it fun because it can change minute by minute. Or who comes to us that day needing something, we can help them out, which is the best part of our job. So it changes day by day, but that's why we're here.
What is you? I'm sure there's many favorites that you guys have as being principals. What's your favorite job or overall thing that you get to do throughout the year as being principals?
I think mine's just interacting with the kids, them having fun with them, whether it's a joke or just harassing them, whatever it may be, just having that relationship with most of the students. And obviously, when I was a teacher, you kind of got to see 100 students. It was my caseload for that. And now you're talking about seeing 450 students and having that interaction with them, the relationship with them. That's the best part of my day.
I would echo that same sentiment. I know lunch and recess duty seems monotonous. It seems long, but there's nothing I enjoy more than being out on the playground with kids and interacting with them in their space instead of ours.
Well, and you get to see, I mean, some of the kids start 3-4 years old down there. So by the time they get to 5th grade, then you have been there for half of their life, if not more at that point. So, and they're totally different kids at 10 than they were at 3. So that's pretty awesome to be able to get to see all of that development, the amount of learning that goes into those ages. And so that's pretty special as well. And I know when Justin and I first started dating, the first thing he said is, you have to meet Mr. Barrett. And he explained the impact that you had on him, especially as he was a student here when his father passed and stepping into that role. And so I think for him being, I won't say how old, almost 30 now, and still being able to reflect on that and that kind of impact that you had.
Yeah, and it's like you said, Mr. Jen could see him going from pre-K to 5th grade. To see the difference when they are a 6th grader to when they graduate is huge. And obviously for those who may struggle and you may think never get there, and then when they get there, that's huge. And that's a cool moment for all of us, not just for me, but just for the teachers and the staff here. It makes you proud.
Awesome.
Cavalier golf season is almost underway. First match is April 4th against LaVille at LaVille, 5:30 p.m. First home match is April 17th against Bremen, 4:30 p.m. The home field is at Maxicaki Country Club. If anyone is interested, contact jpu@culver.k12.in.us.
What is the most rewarding part of being a principal?
The most rewarding part is really a lot of those things that Mr. Berndt talked about, is really watching kids blossom and grow into themselves. And I see kids leave 5th grade at kind of the most awkward point of their life. Middle school can get a little bit weird, right? So I watch them go from babies, right, into these awkward kind of kids who are getting ready for middle school. But then it's cool. So I started when the current juniors were at that elementary school. So I've kind of got to see the fruit of that labor. Some of them are coming back to work at CYC and some of those things. So, it's really, really rewarding to watch kids grow from babies, right? And into these awkward preteens that are like, have no idea what is about to hit them, right? And then, being here long enough to start seeing them grow into young adults is really, really neat.
How old does that make you feel?
A couple of years ago, I realized my very first class that I taught as an elementary school teacher are getting ready to turn 21, be like real adults. And that was really, that was a moment for me. Yes. Being almost 30 would be cool.
Yeah.
Would be really cool.
Nice. I would say the very same things. The most rewarding part is, working with staff to see how they're going to influence the students. And obviously us working with our staff and the students to see how that, and then seeing them maybe 3 or 4 years down the road and what they become. And then knowing that you hopefully had some type of impact on them, that's probably the most rewarding thing. And seeing them as an adult life and seeing, oh gosh, they're having children and they're being successful, and knowing that hopefully Culver Community Schools, the entire picture was brought up because we had some type of influence and impact on you.
What makes a good student?
A good student is a student who tries their very best as often as they possibly can. Not every day is a good day for anybody, right? But a student who is consistently trying their best is a great student in my eyes.
Guess one who can learn from good things, bad things, learn from your mistakes, and if you're willing to change it and make it better, that's a good thing. We're here at the school to make everybody better, and if that means it takes you a week longer than somebody else, that's okay, as long as you're obviously moving in the right direction. So
So it's not necessarily the one that always gets A's and that always listens. And as long as you're teachable, being coachable.
Absolutely.
So what makes Culver a great place to learn?
I guess I always just think about what makes Culver is it's a family-oriented place. Whether that's a student perspective, a staff perspective, that's what brings me here. When I started 26 years ago, never would have thought I'd be in Culver. I was from Knox, and neighboring school system. Thought, hey, I'll give it a year or two and be gone. There's something about Culver that scratches it and makes you hold on. And I think it's the family-oriented environment that we provide. Whether again, that's from top down, bottom up. You could talk to the custodians, and they're the greatest people in the world. And obviously, I think our teachers are the greatest people, and they're here for the kids for the right reasons. So that entire environment makes me feel like this place is special.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. So I grew up in Milwaukee, which is a lot different experience than growing up in a small town.
Just a little bit.
It is just a tad bit bigger than where we are now. And my husband brought me here for work and closer to his family, and it's really a special place. We're renting our house in town. We bought our house in town, and it's not just you raising your kids here. It's a community raising your kids here, and it's a really cool aspect. And our teachers are some of the finest teachers that I've had an opportunity. They care so deeply about each of the students that are in their classroom, and I've had the opportunity to be other places, and you don't get that other places.
And I feel like a lot of the teachers here, I mean, you guys can speak on this more than I can, a lot of them are alumni.
Yeah.
And they've been around for a very long time.
Quite literally family members. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And they're teaching or do we have any grandparents teaching grandkids? Are we at that point yet?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Chris Reneker's grandchildren are students at Culver Elementary School.
Yeah.
April Jeffries.
Jeffries would be another one. Yeah.
So generational.
It's probably down more in the elementary than it is in the middle high school yet.
Okay. Thank you guys so much for coming in, helping us get a behind the scenes look at what it takes to run the schools, and we appreciate it.
Here are your Culver community events from March 22nd to April 4th. March 25th, April 1st will be Culver Community's start of spring break. Monday, April 1st, varsity softball will play against Peru at home. The Culver Community School Board will hold their regularly scheduled board meeting at Administration Building. On Tuesday, April 2nd, girls varsity softball will travel to Argus, and on Wednesday, April 3rd, the girls varsity softball team will play at Couch at home. On Thursday, April 4th, the boys varsity baseball team will travel to Whitco High School, and boys varsity golf will travel to LaVille. You can find these events online at culvercavalierathletics.com.